Listen, if you feel like you're doing everything right, whether that be taking lessons, grinding at the range, maybe it's upgrading your systems, hiring coaches, joining masterminds, yet your results still feel painfully below your potential, then this episode is for you. Because here's the truth that you might not want to hear, but absolutely need to. You can't out-practice, out-hustle, or out-strategize the destructive patterns running your life beneath the surface. Yet for far too long, you've been trying to. You've been avoiding the real work because it's uncomfortable. You've been chasing shortcuts because you perceive them to help you get there faster. And then you cling to surface level fixes because they feel familiar, which equates to comfortable. But here's where I really need you to listen and lean in even closer. The reason you feel as if you lose your swing after one bad shot, the reason you procrastinate on your dreams, the projects you label as a priority and that really matter, the reason that you keep hitting the same ceilings in golf, in business, in your marriage, in life, is because of you, not something external, which means no external shortcut, solution, or band-aid is going to help you overcome the collection of destructive mindset programs that are keeping you stuck. They're not going to help you overcome and suddenly shed the identity of who you are today and miraculously have this new identity unfold when you wake up tomorrow. When you want to make a radical difference in your life, it demands radical honesty, radical ownership, and radical commitment. And until you turn inward, until you get honest with yourself, honest enough to identify the patterns that are holding you back, and learn how to not only acknowledge them, own them, accept them without shame, without guilt, without judgment, and then do the work to release them, absolutely nothing changes. Not your scorecard, not your income, not your marriage, not your confidence, and definitely not your peace of mind. The crux of today's conversation is to shine a much brighter light on not only what it means to do the work. You've seen the social media cliches and quotes. We do the work, or I'm doing the work. I'm putting the work in. What the fuck does the work mean? Are you doing the right work? Are you working for the sake of working? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to get a little uncomfortable, perhaps mightily uncomfortable. And we're going to dig in. Welcome back to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast, the personal development podcast, the professional development podcast, disguised as a golf mindset podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salter, the golf hypnotherapist. I'm a mindset and performance coach, and I help high achievers get unstuck out of their own way so they can unlock and achieve their potential. And the core of what we're discussing today, if you come to this conversation with an open mind, an open heart, the utmost honesty, vulnerability, and courage, you're going to get a lot out of it. Because I have an imagination that you're going to really hear a lot of yourself in today's conversation. I'll share some of my personal struggles and stories and share some really key points to consider. And as always, I'm not going to give you a collection of surface level tools. I'm going to give you thought prompts, questions to chew on, areas of your life to reflect on, because that's what the fucking work is. It's not buying the latest training aids. It's not ripping through your Amazon cart, capitalizing on all the Black Friday deals and Cyber Monday deals coming up just around the corner. I'm going to get this aid, this putting mat, this, that, the other. No, it's not about that. It's about looking inward. And literally, this sounds funny, dehypnotizing yourself from the collection of beliefs and behaviors that have been impressed upon you from a young age by your parents, your siblings, your family, your school, society, your environment as a whole. It's stripping back to get to the core of who you are so that you are this wholesome, authentic, complete, bright light shining individual who is purpose driven and radically fucking committed to being the most authentic version of you. So we got to talk about, what does it mean to do the work? When I talk about doing the work, and when the individual on social media that you know is truly putting in the time, the reps, and the hours, because you and I both know there's so many fakes out there. There's so many facades. There's so many images and projections on social media that are a stark night and day difference between the reality that individual is living outside or offline, if you will. Doing the work is about looking inward. And there are a plethora of different approaches to do the work, to look inward. But doing the work embodies raw honesty, ownership, and vulnerability of who you are, where, and how you are getting in your own way. It demands honesty about who you are, what you want, your current state of being, whether that be success financially, maritally, in your fatherhood or motherhood, how you treat other people. It's just honest, raw feedback and ownership of, this is me, this is where I am here because of who I've been, the decisions I've made, the actions I've taken. The work is identifying, acknowledging, accepting, and then beginning to undo the internal patterns that are holding you back from next level success. And these patterns are not patterns that can be out-practiced, out-grinded on the range, out-hustled with 70 or 80-hour work weeks compared to 60 hours. These programs, these patterns operate beneath conscious awareness. In real time, they're designed with a purpose, they're enmeshed in your identity and designed to keep you safe. The mistake you constantly make that leaves you feeling as if you're doing the work is outsourcing the work to a training aid, for example, to a new novel, whether that be strategy, whether that be tool, technique, swing tips, swing thought, without full ownership that you have everything you need within you right here, right now, to acknowledge, accept, and begin letting go of the part of you, the pattern in you, the belief in you, the behavior in you that is no longer serving you. And you love this surface level type of work because it feels productive. It feels familiar. It doesn't demand that you confront any feelings of shame, fear, or insecurity. It doesn't necessitate that you relive, connect to, and experience past wounds or traumatic, challenging, enduring situations. And even better, this doing for the sake of doing it feels good. It feels familiar. It produces instant dopamine, but it does absolutely nothing to change your identity. And that's literally what personal development is about. It is version A, or version 2025 you aspires to be better. You're doing the work. You're reading the books. You're listening to podcasts. You're hopefully intentionally consuming social media content because there's a lot of good out there, a lot of not so good. The goal is to let go of all of the constituent parts of who you are today to make space for the version of you that you can become. And one of the under the radar underlying reasons that you are likely afraid to begin doing the work actually has nothing to do with confronting your past, taking ownership, feeling into these emotions. One of the wildest parts about this personal transformation journey you're on is that you might think you're stuck, maybe because you don't feel you're good enough yet. Maybe you're not disciplined yet. Maybe you're not talented enough yet. But none of those are the real reasons or the real fears holding you back. And it was Marianne Williams who said it better than anybody else. And I quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And I'll repeat that one more time. Your deepest fear is not that you are inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. And she's right. Let's use golf as an example. Your deep fear isn't chunking a chip shot in front of your buddies. It's not hitting OB off the first tee box. Your deepest fear is what it would mean if you finally did play to your potential. If you were capable of more consistency, more composure, more confidence than you've ever shown before. Let's spin it into the entrepreneurial space, the business and professional space. Your biggest fear isn't failure. It's the responsibility, the visibility, the identity shift that comes with actually succeeding, achieving your dream, living your dream. Because if you are powerful beyond measure, then you can't hide behind your excuses anymore. You can't blame the course. You can't blame the economy. I can't tell you how many prospective clients have blamed the economy as to why they can't invest in themselves. Blows my mind. You can't blame your team. You can't blame your swing, your childhood, your industry, your schedule. If you're powerful beyond measure, you and you alone are responsible for the gap between who you are and who you could be. And that's why so many people, most people, avoid the work. Not because it's hard, but because it forces them, it forces you to confront the truth that you're capable of far more than you're currently allowing yourself to experience. And let's go one step deeper here. How many of these conversations, how many of my podcast episodes in particular have you listened to without actually taking any tangible action? Because shit hits different in this conversation. I go where nobody else goes. It hits deeper. It makes you think. It's confronting at times. Yet how often do you find yourself listening to me, relating, resonating, having ideas, your mind spinning productively 1,000,000 miles an hour, feeling your feels all simultaneously, and then do nothing about it? Yeah, it's fucking scary, right? Because again, this whole evolution, this whole personal development journey is about letting go of everything that makes you who you are today to become who you are capable of being. And I agree wholeheartedly with Marianne Williamson because I'm a walking testament of being afraid of my potential. I'll tell you a funny story. Don't recall if I've shared it on the podcast before. I have a hunch I have, but it's been I've podcasted like 400 plus, 500 plus episodes since 2018. Different podcasts, not this one, of course. But I still remember first year of grad school, University of Tampa, studying for my master's in exercise and nutrition sciences. And this was back when nootropics were slowly coming onto the scene. This was when Facebook advertising was very, very early. This was a little bit after the movie Limitless came out. Bradley Cooper, the Limitless drug, he's unstoppable, so productive, yada, yada, yada. And there's this brand formerly known as Neurohacker, now known as Qualia, that had kind of the first, in my experience, push of marketing these nootropics. A nootropic, let's just call it a drug for your brain. It's a drug, rather a supplement to help you enhance focus, clarity, and it's got all kinds of roots and extracts here, there, some decent science behind a lot of it, and especially back then, maybe a little bit of decent science. But anyway, I remember that the subscription model was, buy your first bottle, call it like $74. Don't quote me on that. And then it was a renewing monthly subscription at like $129.99. And I'm broke. I've got my first adult job. I'm at IMG Academy as a sports dietitian. I'm in grad school full-time simultaneously. Me and my buddy, still one of my best friends to this day, shout out Kevin, we're hooked. Like we're really infatuated with these brain drugs. And actually, I went on to do my thesis on the complementary and synergistic relationship between caffeine and L-theanine. That's a staple in all of the pre-workout supplements these days. It's a staple in all of the nootropic supplements. I was way ahead of that shit. And we're sitting there. So we finally pull the money together. We're both broke. And we split buying a bottle of this nootropic supplement. Again, back then called Neurohacker, black bottle, whitish, silvery font, now known as Qualia. Same branding, actually, I believe. And it was really simple. Take 2 capsules once per day in the morning before you start your so-called, focused or most important work. I was so afraid that I might become the most efficient man in America. I took a half dose. Like, how fucking funny is that in hindsight? I took one of the 2 capsules because deep down, what if I became more productive? What if I was the standout graduate in my master's program? Fun fact, I was. What if I had immense success in my job as a dietitian? I got a promotion. I got different job offers. That young version of me could not fathom having that next level success because that younger me still had such a low ceiling of expectation, a bare minimum amount of belief in how worthy and deserving he was, that he was afraid to take a full dose of a fucking probably dodgy nootropic supplement at the time. It's funny to me. But I wonder where in your life now, as we bring it back to you, you've played small. You've chosen the timid approach. You've remained in a state of indecision, paralysis analysis, and procrastination because you're afraid of just how powerful you are, just how great of a golfer you can become, just how much money you can make, the lifestyle that you can provide for your loved ones, family, and self. The reason this fear and this invisible ceiling continues to perpetuate in every domain of your life and every chapter of your life is because you continue to outsource and focus on external surface level solutions that are like placing temporary band-aids over deep bullet wounds. Doing the work is looking inward and having an honest, sometimes confronting conversation with yourself. You know when you're on the verge of doing the right work when you start to experience resistance, discomfort, tension, your ego wanting to fight back, flaring up, fear rising, or my favorite, which runs fucking rampant in the most successful of individuals, entrepreneurs, and achievers, is suddenly feeling a desire to run, distract, numb, or avoid. One of my favorite questions to ask when I'm on a coaching call with one of my clients is, after I reflect back some of the key points they share from them, kind of me listening, and kind of sharing what it is I hear, sometimes reading between the lines, and just asking them, how does that land? Oh, fuck, there's a lump in my throat. Oh, my chest is so tight. Oh, my stomach is swirling. It can be really difficult to move any further past those points on your own. Because it's resistance, it's your body, it's your subconscious, your ego rebelling and fighting back, doing everything it can to persuade you to stay put and stop going further. Because every step you take embracing and feeling into that discomfort, getting curious to learn about it, is another step you take outside your comfort zone, which is unfamiliar and unsafe and a threat to who you are or the identity that you have composed today. The most successful individuals in every area of life walk this journey anyway, constantly looking inward to understand, why do I do the things I do? Why do I feel the way I do? Why did this trigger me? Why did this emotion come up? Whoa, why did I make that choice or take that action? They're constantly reflecting, learning, iterating, letting go, reflecting, learning, iterating, letting go. Yet the real interesting part too, as I kind of alluded to, what runs rampant is a lot of people who have achieved incredible levels of success, yourself included. The awareness of these patterns is there, the procrastination, the perfectionism, the mismanaged emotions, or the lack of emotional intelligence and resiliency. Yet the surface level solution sought is numbing, distracting, avoiding. And that could be drugs. It could be THC. It could be obsessive alcohol drinking. It could be recreational drugs. It could be gambling. It could be porn. It could be food. It could be, binge eating or overeating consistently. All of these things to numb, or better said, all of these things either numb you completely to feeling the discomfort you briefly tasted, or they make you feel something. If you go binge eat, you feel like absolute shit after. Well, there's the feeling part, but you had control of that feeling, and it doesn't actually lead to you having any really honest, productive conversation with yourself. It's just a different feeling. It's creating a problem just so you can solve it later on because it feels good and it's familiar and it's a pattern. That's why it's familiar. You already know you can solve it, so you keep re-engaging in it so you feel productive for the sake of feeling productive. Life isn't but a fucking hamster wheel. And until you're willing to fucking let that wheel off its track by doing the work and looking inward, you're going to continue to be a caged hamster. And I know that's a really funny, kind of silly analogy, but think about it for a moment. You're stuck in a pattern of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, spinning your wheels because you're afraid to do the work. You keep outsourcing it. You've got to dive in. Avoidance has a formula. It's so predictable. You know what you're avoiding. You know how you're doing it. You're changing equipment. You're blaming the course. You're not warming up. You're not doing after-round reports. You're not hitting 50 putts a day at home. You're practicing only when you feel good. You're starting new projects before you finish current ones. You're diving into new tools, tactics, and softwares instead of confronting self-doubt. You're burying yourself with little to-dos, not delegating, not outsourcing, not automating because it keeps you feeling busy and important. Stop intellectualizing instead of feeling. I told my client that last night. Friday night, checking in. We're texting back and forth. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to give her a call because something's up. She's made her living on thinking, critical decision-making, problem-solving, think. There's never space for feelings. There's never time for feelings. Feelings are weakness. And she was even responding to some of my questions, but I think. And I'm just like, do you see this program? Do you see this program? What do you feel? Stop being afraid to confront your feelings, your truths, your patterns. Because you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back. So what does doing the work look like? Okay, we've talked about the honesty. We've talked about looking inward, confronting some parts about yourself, identifying what it is you hate, what in other people you hate or triggers you, because those are teachers. We talked about that in the last episode. And if you're not an avid reader of the More Pars and Bogies newsletter that goes out every Friday. Last Friday, I don't even know what the date would have been. What would the date have been? 21st, probably my most impactful newsletter I've ever written. And there's probably 75 of them. Strongly encourage you to go read it. Doing the work involves a lot of questions with yourself. I did this sound bath, this medicinal therapeutic sound bath retreat a couple weeks ago. And I really hope I don't butcher this. But in the beginning, the leader, the facilitator is giving this profound talk and learning lessons. And he's like, oh God, I wish I could recite exactly what he said. But the theme is all on self-talk. And self-talk is just having a conversation with yourself back and forth. If 2 people are having a conversation, it's you talking to you. It's your ego talking to the authentic core version of who you are. You know all of the answers. So if you just allow yourself to sit in silence and listen, you're going to tell yourself the answer. So that's why I'm such a big proponent of asking the right questions. That's why Tony Robbins said, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Ask better questions, get better answers, better outcomes, better results, better life. So here's some key questions that are going to challenge you to be radically honest with yourself. And I encourage you to write these down. Where are you lying to yourself? What are you lying to yourself about? Why? What emotion are you consistently avoiding, repressing, or numbing? Where are you repeating the same pattern over and over again? Where are you so focused on performing rather than healing? And where in your life are you letting fear take the wheel? The transformation you seek, the results you desire, does not happen without radical honesty. You and myself, we're both guilty of trying to replace behaviors without ever understanding the belief underneath this behavior. And you've heard me talk about this before, this whole domino chain of events. You encounter a trigger or an experience, something triggers an emotion. Emotion is energetic currency. That emotion exposes a belief. A belief is a filter through which you see the world, yourself, and others. It's the lens through which you make decisions and take actions. Your belief system was formed, 95% of it, before the age of 7. Your beliefs filter your word choice, your thoughts, your behaviors, actions, and habits, therefore shaping and influencing both your results and your identity. The surface level work is hopping from one behavior to the next. The deep work is uncovering the belief that perpetuates these collections of half-assed, suboptimal behaviors, unlearning and replacing with a new belief that incentivizes you to take the right action. You don't need more discipline. You need belief level upgrades. You don't need more motivation. You need more emotional regulation. You don't need a new routine. You need new internal wiring. And just like any skill in life, it's not a one-time thing. Doing the inner work needs to be a constant companion on your journey to greatness. All of the best athletes, entrepreneurs, and most successful business owners and individuals out there have one or more coaches every step of the way in their journey. Many go on to coach themselves because that in of itself is a way to further embody the lessons that they are teaching. They're sharing their learning lessons. Whatever it is they're teaching or coaching upon demands that they're continuing to learn and level up to be the role model they need to be. Things to look out for in your own dialogue, your own self-talk, your peer group conversations, or on social media. What's that one swing tip I need today? What's that drill? What's the mindset hack? What's the script that closes more deals? What kind of thoughts do I need to think? These are all shallow solutions and answers. And they're going to lead to delayed progress, if any progress, repeating the same mistakes, constant fucking frustration, paralysis under pressure, and perhaps worst of all, just a continuous erosion of your self-trust. And I think the last important point I want to share on this topic. Can you tell how much I love this concept of reflection and mirroring? I've told you from day one that golf is nothing more than a mirror of you, your personal development journey. Well, here's something I want to stick with you as well. Your results, your reality right now are a mirror. They're not a fucking mystery. Whatever patterns you're experiencing showing up on the course in your business or at home are simply reflections of deeper patterns within you. Fear of greatness, failure, success, perfectionism, avoidance, imposter syndrome, anger and emotional volatility, low self-worth, lack of confidence. The world you live in isn't happening to you. Your results are happening from you. And the work is learning how to read the mirror instead of resenting it. And I'm hopeful, as you've picked up what I've put down today, you are understanding that surface level work is analogous to conscious work. It's talk therapy. It's tip of the iceberg. It's a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. Conscious strategies, short-term surface-level solutions don't rewire subconscious patterns. Logic doesn't heal wounds. Willpower doesn't undo bad behaviors. Deep subconscious reprogramming, specifically through hypnosis, is what gets beneath the surface. It's what literally rewires your belief system, capitalizes on neuroplasticity, and helps you finally access the power within you to connect, embrace, and feel safe being the most authentic version of you. The real work, doing the work, is subconscious work. And if you are seriously committed to becoming the best version of you, and I have no fucking clue why you would not be committed to that, then you need to do the real work, the work that produces lasting, significant results. I'm biased, but I'm candid. Mindset and performance coaching, specifically hypnosis, changed my life. I still work with the same coach. I think we're going on 7 years. I've had multiple coaches over the years, and I will always have coaches so I can continue to learn and grow, to continue to better serve you, my clients. And if I can be of service and support to you, to help you break free from this frustrating ride along the hamster wheel, to get out of your own way and achieve your potential, then I invite you to use the link in the show notes to schedule a mindset coaching discovery call with me. I thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope it's timely. I hope it hits where it needs to and lands how it needs to, not how you want it to. And I'm hopeful you'll take action on what stood out and what I recommended, revisiting some of those reflection questions I shared throughout. If this episode landed, share it with a friend, fellow golfer, fellow peer, entrepreneur, coworker, whoever it may be who also needs this swift kick in the ass, who needs to break the pattern of hopping from one surface level solution to the next. I thank you for listening. Have a fantastic start to the week. Enjoy the Thanksgiving holidays. Root mercilessly and ruthlessly for the Dallas Cowboys to lose, because the Redskins are having one shit year, to say the least. And have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you in this week's episode on Thursday. I'll actually go out Friday real quick because of the Thanksgiving holiday. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll catch you then.